You're no stranger to horror. You've done quite a bit over the years. What was about this one that kind of got you excited to play Lee?
Yeah, I was sort of resistant to doing more before I got the script. I love horror. I love horror movies, making them and watching them. But I was like, I've done so much of it. And then I read this script, and me and my whole team agreed, like, oh, we have to do this movie. Because she was just so cool. She was such an exciting person. She's so passionate and driven and headstrong. She's not afraid to say what she thinks. And the queer storyline, the queer aspect of her character, just being like a natural rebel in this world, especially facing the film industry, which has such a misogynistic, patriarchal history. Seeing this young queer woman forge her way through it was really exciting.
Yeah, I just spoke to Josh and Mark mentioned that that was a huge part of wanting to write this movie, make this movie, to kind of
Yeah.
have that as part of the story. And I guess having Russell Crowe as a lead, I assume he was already cast is a pretty
He
good
wasn't
reason.
cast
Oh,
actually by the time when I started on it. My audition process was long. I auditioned for this movie for like at least 2 months. I think I had like 7 meetings and auditions for it. It was like a really, I would like flew places to do it. And it was only within the last few meetings that they were like, yeah, we just cast Russell Crowe. And I was like, oh my God, like I know, sorry, there's garden work happening outside my window right now. I don't know if you can hear that.
it's okay.
I apologize. Um, but I've known Russell for a really long time. He's been like a really close family friend for years. And so once I found that out, I was like, well, now it has to happen. And once Russell found out they were considering me, he was like, yeah, this has to happen. Um, and it was just really serendipitous that it happened the way it did. But it was great working with him. He's such a loyal person. He's really generous, and he operates like a machine to make movies, which is great.
Yeah, you two are great together. Also, I mean that's the father daughter thing. That's just is such a big part of it. And what's it like doing these scenes with him? With these because you have a lot of crazy scenes with him where he's like got like makeup effects and like a lot of things going on.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, I think my favorite parts with him were because in scenes like that, like we're doing exorcisms or whatever, there's a lot of technical things going on. Like we have practical effects where the stage we're on is shaking. We have these big makeup effects. And a lot of that is doing the work for you, and you just sort of get to focus on the emotion. But my favorite scenes to do were more so the ones where it was just me and him in like our apartment talking, like going over his lines or, talking about, just our relationship. I think we found a really natural chemistry. I think we're similar people. We'd like to work in a similar way. We're both like Aries, so we're both really passionate and driven and headstrong. And I think that had a really natural chemistry between us. And he was just really giving, and we found a lot to work with.
What about David Hyde Pierce? I mean, there's not a lot of opportunities to work with him. He doesn't do that much stuff these days.
I
So
know.
what
I
are those?
love
Yeah.
him. I love David. He was the best. He was so sweet, so funny, and such a pro. Like, so, I mean, obviously he's a pro, but just to watch him, if someone suggested an idea, to watch him intake it, either to be like, no, 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 that doesn't make sense because I'm going to do this because I'm going to do this because of this reason and this thing. Like, even if it was as simple as blocking, or him going, oh, that's interesting you say that. Let me input that. Let me process that. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That works. Like he is so internally and grounded in his roles, but also such a sweet, generous presence on set. I really adored working
Nice. But before I go, I've been hearing rumors there's more Fear Street coming. Is that something you'd be involved with at all, or they go out doing different things, or?
Yeah, there's more Fear Street coming. I think it's great that people loved our movie so much that they're gonna go and make another one. I don't think anyone is involved. I think even Lee Janiak, who directed our films, is like maybe an executive producer, but I think it's like a whole new thing completely. But I hope they have fun.
Oh, nice.